più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Adolcino d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Adolcino d'amor.
Hey, how are you all doing? My name is Gunnar Ingi. You're watching the quarterly video for the Iceland Project. This is the spring to summer update. First and foremost, I want to tell you about what's been going on in our family. Svava's doing well. She's very pregnant though. It turns out it takes 9 months every single time, so we're waiting for May 23rd to be here so we can see our baby daughter for the first time outside of the womb. Mikael, he's turning 3 in July, so there's been a lot of news with him. More and more we're realizing he is autistic and realizing the difficulties that come with that. Honestly, it's been God's grace that we see it so early. If you get it early enough, it's best to work with it. So we're very hopeful for the future. Last week, he broke his arm. He fell out of his bed, which was still a crib, which he was almost growing out of. So we just got him a new bed that kind of stopped that from ever happening again. And he's got his cast on, and he's very, very cute with his Smurf blue cast. For me and Svava, our marriage is doing good. I just got back home from 2.5 weeks away, so that was very difficult. So we're here, and we're very happy to be together again. I'm doing this video from my computer because honestly, it was a very tiring trip. I just don't want to put up the tripod and my fancy camera and sync the audio with the video and all that right now. I just came back from this trip to the US. It was very rough, but at the same time, it was physically very rough, but spiritually, I've never been so renewed and uplifted. So as I told you last update, the Iceland Baptist Church became a part of Loftstofan, and the transition seems to be going very well. Our attendance has been up since that day because we have a lot more people now. We've been active in having membership classes and trying to get all those people through membership. Just please be praying for Loftstofan Church and for the people that we don't have any segregation, that we don't have all the Emmanuel people and then the Loftstofan people. So we're working very hard to be one family, one spiritual family, to see the work happen here in Iceland. About a month ago, a little over a month ago, I went to the US for 5 days. It was a very short trip, but we got a lot of stuff done. I got to go to North Carolina, got to spend some time in Charlottesville, got to spend some time in Dumfries, and then fly back home. And it was a very encouraging trip. Learned a lot, and came back sort of ready to implement those things. Again, this trip came up then, a month and a half later. For 2.5 weeks, we drove all around the U.S., from Virginia down to Georgia, up to New York and to Delaware, to stop at South Carolina, and so on and so forth. So it was a lot of driving. I got to speak to hundreds of people, and I'm so thankful for the churches allowing me the privilege of preaching God's word. It was an honor. We had a great response. Man, such generosity from the churches, both, and people just coming up to us saying, hey, we're praying for you guys, and we will be praying for you guys. And then churches, giving us even physical, material things, like finances for coming over there. And man, it was such great generosity, and I pray to God that it may impact my heart so that our church may not only preach the gospel in a solid way, but also show the gospel in the way those churches show the gospel, with their generosity, with their words, with their prayers, and of course financially. I'm so very thankful. We got I think 3 or 4 new churches in supporting financially monthly. We do have some extra costs because of this extra person being added to our family, and so we were sort of hoping to see maybe a little small funds raised up for that, and of course with some of the extra expenses that will follow, Mika's training that he needs. I'm so physically tired right now, but I'm so spiritually uplifted from this trip. Just to keep you praying about this, it looks like God may be opening up a sliver in a door to maybe have a school of theology here in the near future to train up our leaders of the church here and possibly our church planner. It was always my dream to start a school of theology in Iceland. I thought it would be after a decade or two, but it looks like God may be doing something. So please, if you're praying for us, please be praying for that. Another thing you can be praying for is a book project. Doors might be opening up for us to translate books into Icelandic. I've actually heard a lot of adults say, man, I was reading the Jesus Storybook Bible with my kids and I learned a lot. So we're hoping both that Icelanders would hear the gospel through reading the Jesus Storybook Bible to their kids, but also that people might buy that here in Iceland, and hopefully that would fund some of our church plants, not church plants, but some of our book projects in the future if we would translate C.S. Lewis or anything like that. And that's another thing I thought would happen maybe in a decade or 2 decades, that we would get some theological works into Icelandic. But man, what I'm realizing more and more is that I get to be a part of God's story. I'm never going to be able to say this is my story, because I'm just on board with what God is doing. And what I quickly realized when we said yes to planning this church is, man, He's got this story planned. All I'm here to do is be a puppet in His show. And I'm so honored to be that. I mean, it's been an amazing journey. Also, what just happened here in March is we hosted a international church planning conference, or a roundtable event as the Radstock Network calls it. It was an honor, man. It was pastors from Ireland, from the UK, from Belarus, from Albania, from Mongolia, from, I'm forgetting some countries. Did I say Belarus already? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, Albania, from the Ukraine, and so on and so forth. It was awesome. And from the US as well, people from all over the world coming to Iceland. I think we had about 30 church planners there. And it was just so awesome to learn from the different cultures what it looks like to do ministry in Ukraine or Albania or Macedonia. That was one of the nations. You could learn so much from that, but also being a part of the Radstock Network, we knew there are churches involved in the network, but we never met them. So that was a great opportunity for them to come to us, and we got to see some faces and not just realize some names or church names. We actually got to meet the people within the network, and it was an awesome, encouraging time for us. It seems like every time we're discouraged, we get a letter from someone around the world praying for the gospel to penetrate the hearts of Icelanders and change Iceland. I mean, that's awesome, because a lot of the times we feel like, hey man, there's not a whole lot of stuff happening here. Then we realize, hey, this is God's story, and He has people all around the world praying for this thing to happen here in Iceland. And man, what an honor it is to be a part of God's story. So in March, we had David Webster come here from Chicago, or I think he came from Tennessee, then he moved over to Chicago. He was here for almost 3 weeks. We have Devin coming again in May. We're super excited about that. He's coming again for 3 months. Devin is the one trying to move to Iceland, so he's going to be here for 3 months. We got Bethany coming here in May as well. I think she's coming for a week and praying about maybe coming for a longer time later on, so please pray for her as she's here. We got 2 groups coming over in June. We're going to try to reach our neighborhood. We're going to do the ESL camp again. The McCraneys are coming over. We're super thankful for that. They're bringing their whole family over to do an ESL camp for Icelanders ages 8 to 12 years old. That's going to be awesome. We got one other group, a youth group coming, I think a big one, like 15 people. And we're going to do something like a sports camp with them, so be a blessing to our neighborhood. In August, there's one coming as well. And in September is one coming as well. And there might be a guy coming to do help us with worship and maybe do a few shows around town in October as well. So there's a lot of things happening here in the future. Honestly, I need to work on being a better shepherd and pastor and preacher to the people that God has already blessed us with. I make the mistakes too often to think about what is it going to look like down the road. I need to stop for a minute, remember that God has really blessed us with some awesome people already, and I need to be a better shepherd and a better pastor and a better preacher for them, to equip them for the work of the ministry. Because what we've seen, honestly, is the gospel is spreading mostly through people talking to their friends about Jesus Christ and His work in their life. So I'm going to use this upcoming quarter to do all the stuff that needs to be done, but I'll focus a lot of my energy on becoming a better shepherd, preacher, and a pastor. Of course, this upcoming quarter, our daughter will be arriving, so that will be an amazing time, a sleepless time, but an amazing time. And then lastly, but not least, we're going to focus a little bit of our energy on maybe fundraising a little bit more because of our daughter being added to our family and because of some extra expenses that we did not anticipate. We're going to try to see if there are any other churches or individuals willing to be a part of supporting financially what's happening here. So please pray for that as well, that might go well. And if you're a guy or if you're an individual who would like to support us financially, if you're an organization that would like to support us financially, or a church, please pray about supporting us. We need a little bit more. You can contact me to know how much that is. I can send you a budget of what it looks like for us living here right now. And please stay in touch. I'll put the email at the end of this video. Man, thank you so much for all of you who are praying about what the work happening here in Iceland and praying for Icelandic hearts to be penetrated by the gospel. Thank you so much for your heart, for the kingdom expanding and the gospel spreading here in Iceland. I mean, it's an honor being on the ground here. Of course, it's tiring at times. But man, what an honor it is to serve the one true God, to live out our lives for His kingdom and for His glory. It is a true honor, and thank you for all of you who support us financially. I hope these video updates do justice and kind of pulling you into all of what's been happening. I can tell you that we are working hard, that your money is not being wasted if you're giving to us financially. And for you praying for us, we are working hard to see the gospel spread, but I ask you to continue to pray for us, that God would use us as tools in His hands for His purposes and His glory. I mean, He has been using us, but even more, may He start using us even more for His purposes and His glory, to build His church here in Iceland. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Gunnar Ingi, and this was the Iceland Project quarterly video update.